Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create Kubernetes cluster, Azure Kubernetes cluster. So I've logged into my Azure portal and you can search for Kubernetes, Kubernetes services. Yes. So you can see here, I don't see any no Kubernetes cluster available and I need to create one, right? So I can just click on create and choose create a Kubernetes cluster. Excellent. So now that I have to choose the subscription where I have got an access. That's very important. You have to make sure that you have got a access to the subscription as a contributor to create a Azure Kubernetes cluster, or you need to get the access and then get that sorted. It's not possible without creating without an access. So it's simple. And choose the resource group if you have one. If not, you can create new. I'm going to create a new resource group. I'm gonna name it as AKS dev. Okay, so that's going to be my resource group name and same as my cluster. So for the cluster, I just remove the prefix AZ. Let it be K8-dev. Choose the region. Based out on the region, your Kubernetes version will change. So I'm gonna choose East US 2 and keep availability zones as it is. So I'm going to get 3 availability zones, and the size of the node is going to be standard DS2v2. Do not disturb it, let it be as it is, and keep the auto scaling. If you want, you can just reduce the node pool count. I'm going to do it as 3 instead of 5, and choose node pools. And you can see here, I'm going to get 3 node count. OS type is as Linux. Okay, so no changes required here as it is. Leave it as it is because I'm not going to create a virtual nodes now because I don't have container instances created. So I don't have any services available. So let it be as it is and choose authentication. And here you can opt for service principal or system assigned managed identity. So I'm going to choose system assigned managed identity because it has got a lot of feature and I don't need to maintain the credentials by creating service principal, right? So that's not going to help me out. And if it's required and if your organization demands, you can do that. But Microsoft recommendation is system assigned managed identity, and that's the way forward. And in the future, everybody is going to opt for system assigned managed identity. So choose that and keep RBAC as it is, and do not choose Azure Active Directory for now. I'm not going to enable that, and the encryption type is going to be default. And in the networking, I'm going to opt for Azure CNI. That's the network plugin. So that is going to create a new VNet as well as the cluster subnet. We don't need to worry about what it is going to do now because it's not going to be in-depth or deep vertical session. So this is just horizontal knowledge sharing to give you how we are going to create a cluster using Azure portal. Okay, so you have to just know the basics at this point of time and choose network policy as Azure. And I don't have Azure Container Registry 2 because I don't have any Docker images published in my Docker Hub repositories to, in Azure Container Registry to pull the image and build. Instead of that, I'm going to use a Docker Hub repository. All right. So I'm not going to choose create a new container registry, or I'm not going to choose the one which is existing. Keep the monitoring enabled. That's going to create a new log analytics workspace in the same resource group where you're creating your cluster. And click on review create. We are all good. So if the validation passed, you're good to create the cluster. It takes a couple of minutes. The creation of the cluster itself will take 10 to 15 minutes and we don't need to worry about it because you have no manual intervention required once the validation is passed. Good, the validation is passed here. Just click on create, sit back and relax for 10 minutes. Your cluster is going to be up and ready. And once the cluster is successfully created, I'll show you how to connect to the cluster from your local Windows machine. Thanks a lot for watching my video.